Hey folks, one of the reasons life in South Africa has become deeply frustrating for me is that it seems to me that the realities of life in our country are obvious, while to so many others it seems that they are a mystery. If you listen to the words of the corporate media, and especially our political class, they will have you believe that South Africa is one of the most racist and unfair countries in the world. It's something that they say on a weekly and sometimes even a daily basis. But in my experience, as somebody who has lived in South Africa my entire life with a severe physical disability, this is simply not true. As somebody who has spent my entire life in a wheelchair, I can tell you that people, regardless of their race or their economic position, have an immense capacity for kindness and compassion. I know this from personal experience, and it is proof to me that racism is not nearly as bad as those in power want us to believe. If it were, I would quite literally be dead already. And so, this is why I find myself often feeling immensely frustrated, because so many people just believe the propaganda that they are told without stopping to think whether it accurately reflects their daily experience or not. Because the propaganda that we are exposed to has become so extreme that, for example, they would have you believe that there are gangs of white people who go around looking to harass and target innocent black people for no reason. This is simply not true. And what happened when Trump granted refugee status to certain Afrikaners who are now over in the States? Well, the political class immediately started calling them traitors and encouraged ordinary citizens to believe that they had been lied to. And anytime you talk about the persecution of whites in South Africa, which, whether you want to believe it or not, is real and does happen, the response you'll get is, oh, shut up. More black people are murdered every year than white people. That may be true. And in fact, I know for a fact that it is true. But that misses the point. You should be angry that more black people die every year than white people. Because here's the thing, nobody should be dying like people die in South Africa. Our rates of rape and sexual abuse also are among the highest in the world, and nobody should be accepting those either. But South Africa is a very weird place because depending on who makes the complaint, they could be saying the exact same thing, but depending on their skin color, they will either be listened to or told to shut up. And it also depends on how well connected you are, politically speaking. If I criticize the way that black people in South Africa suffer because of the failed policies of our leaders, simply because I'm white, I have a good chance of being told to shut up and mind my own business. Yet, if a black person does the exact same thing I'm doing now and raises the very serious issues that are faced by black people and really all non whites in this country, they will be praised as brave and heroic. In my experience as a South African, regardless of race, most of us want the same things, and those are a stable job, a future for our kids, and a safe place to live. That's what most of us want, regardless of how rich or poor we are. Yet we continue to allow political leaders to divide us and profit from our poverty and misery. This has become very frustrating to watch because in a way it's almost pointless to talk about this stuff because as I've said, as a white person, there will be a large number of people who will not even listen to what I have to say, even if I'm trying to speak in their defense and point out how they've been mistreated. The strangest thing I've encountered is how some black people, not all, but a large number, will defend black economic empowerment legislation and call me racist for criticizing it, despite the fact that by and large, the average black South African does not benefit from black economic empowerment legislation, and in fact suffers more because it has caused the economy in general to fail. When I criticize something like BEE, I'm criticizing it on behalf of all South Africans, not because I'm white and I want special privileges or unfair treatment in my own favor. All I want is for South Africans of all races to have a fair shot at a decent life. I don't think that that is crazy or unreasonable. Yet, simply because I'm white and I say these things, there will be people who assume that I have some sort of nefarious or ulterior motive. I don't. I just want everyone to have the best shot that they can have at succeeding with their capacities that they were born with. Not everybody is built to be a billionaire. I'm certainly not. It takes a very particular kind of person to reach that level of success. And I can tell you right now, I don't have the mental fortitude to do what would be necessary to become a billionaire. I would be happy with a simple life, a steady job, and perhaps a little bit of money at the end of every month that I can spend on myself without worrying about where my next meal will come from. This would be possible if we had leaders who actually cared about the well being of average South Africans. But now more than ever, I am firmly convinced that it won't ever be politicians who save this country. And yes, that includes the DA. Now, from an administrative point of view, it's undeniable that the DA would most likely do a better job leading the government than the ANC has. But that's not particularly impressive because the ANC has set such a low bar as a government that you'd have to try hard to do worse than they have. That being said, I'm not a DA member, nor particularly a DA supporter. I don't trust them any more than I trust the ANC, the EFF, the IFP, or whatever party you can think of. I don't trust politicians as a type of person because I know the kind of person that would willingly involve themselves in politics. Those who enter politics crave, above all, personal power and prestige. Their main aim is simply to secure their own position in life, and even if they do anything good for ordinary people, that's just a byproduct. It's not the main goal. So I think that any South African who wants a decent life has to be willing to build it for themselves because politicians are not coming to save you and they are certainly not coming to save me. As always, I hope you found some value in this content, and if not, too bad. Look after yourselves, take care of each other, and for now, farewell.